Hey everybody, I'm Go Veer, Go Home. Welcome to the Sunday Brunch Kit Builds. Today we're going to do a bit of work on the layout as opposed to building a kit, but I'm probably going to be dealing with some track stuff and some building stuff anyways, so it only makes sense. Every Sunday I go live just like this and I work on a kit or work on the layout, something. Just hanging out. And you're welcome to join as well. And if you'd like to join the video stream and chat about model railroading and everything else in between, as long as it's about that, you're welcome to join. The link is in the chat there. And yeah, then we'll chin and we can chat away. So we do this every week. So I'm gonna just turn the camera around. You can see that I'm on the inside of my layout here, and I've been working on this area, and what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take you over some of the stuff, because last week I made these railroad crossings, right? And these are actually for this section here. So the track is not glued down yet, but we are gonna kind of do something like this here, and that'll go in between the rails there. But still lots has to be done with those, but they are pieced together, so that's good to go. And I gotta just sand the heck out of them still, but we're gonna add a road that goes right up to this. And I'm probably gonna do a couple other things around here. I've got a retaining wall just over on this side here that I have to build, and I'll be able to put that in place, and we'll be able to check that as well. Good morning, Canadian Locomotive Logistics. How's it going today? Just going over what we're working on today here. So now I've got this piece of paper here, and I like to make templates whenever I'm doing something like this, because what'll happen is this is the width of a standard street. Can't remember off the top of my head what the actual size is. I think it's like 4 3/4, something like that. I'll find out for you right here. Whoops. It is HO scale, 2-lane city street is 4 1/8 inches wide. So I measure that out using my ruler and the paper here, and then I cut it. So that's just a template. So I had tucked it in behind here, because this is where the track goes, and it's more or less going to go in this general area. So I tucked the paper in, and I was able to create a line for the contour, and then I pushed down on the rails here, which made 2 lines, which you can kind of see I used a marker and traced them. And these are going to be my starting and stopping points for the road, because I won't be putting road in the middle there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut those out now, and I'm going to make even smaller templates. Especially with the fact that it is a bit of a curved rail, you want to make sure you're getting this curve accurate. So when we take a look at this, that'll go up against there, and then that goes, of course, up against the rail. Now, I'm going to end up taking a bit more off of that because of the fact that because the wood crossing there is going to also go on there as well, but I can always cut that out later. But I just want the basic size of the road and the shape as well for the curve. The neat part about this is that if I needed a middle piece as well, I can always use this. I can cut it a little bit more but that would, yeah, basically go in the middle there. But we're just going to put that over to the side for now. Yeah, that works too. Hey, Conrail. I like to use, and I'm going to show you what I use for my roads. This is just a template, but you can see here that that'll go like that, and then we've got a road crossing. But I use foam core board. This is something that you can get at the dollar store or other craft supply stores, but I get it at the dollar store because it's super cheap. So, and you get a big square or rectangle size sheet of it. So don't feel like I go through it as quickly. You just got to make sure that you have a very sharp knife when you're doing it, because it will rip the actual paper. So now I wonder if this cord is long enough that you'll be able to follow me here. There you go. Okay. So, like I said, get like a big board, and I'm going to take the template, and I'm just going to cut that out. And I like to use a metal edge ruler because it's more accurate that way. At least I find it is. And I'm making a long strip here because the road is fairly long, and then I'm going to have to cut some of it off as well. So we'll just make it long enough to reach the edge of the layout, basically. All right. So you have it. There's your strip there. Let's take a look over here. We'll kind of go back. Sorry for the shaky camera. All right. I've tried the pre-printed roads before, and they're okay, but I like to make my own because there's quite a variation of different types of roads that you can use, like dirt roads and city street roads, and depending on the area that you're modeling, that might be a 2-lane or more, right? And I think most of those pre-made streets are just a very basic, like it's a standardized street, so it doesn't give you much variety basically at that point. Okay, so that's basically your road there. But a couple of things will happen. So one, I need to make sure that I can go right up to the rail. And again, I'll cut it back and I'll be able to replace it with this. But I want to make sure it goes right up to the rail. So what I normally do, because I know that it goes this way, and you can see, okay. And I cut it. I usually like to go halfway through the foam with a sharp knife. And I go a little ways back. I don't know if I can. I'm in a tight area here, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. It's just I'm in a very tight area here, so it's very difficult to do this. Okay, so I need my ruler now, which I left over here. Now, the reason why you want a sharp knife for doing this, besides, being able to cut things, is that if it's sharp enough, you don't want to cut all the way through your foam. And if I do this, and if I just because it isn't, I'm not pushing all the way down. I want to just take off this top layer here. There you go. So you see how that is split? You can kind of see that. It's kind of a rough job right here. But, I mean, that's what you get for working with foam, right? And what we do, we turn it. And now it goes right up to the rail. Now, without really overly bending this, I just want to shape it a little bit because obviously it's going to go down like this and then it comes back up. And I'm trying to line it up here as well. And then what I'm going to do is trace this curve with my knife. So you can kind of see that there is a line here and it's a curve. I don't know if you can see it. If you can, great. If you can't, it does exist. It is there. So you'll just have to believe me. So I'm going to just follow that line with my sharp knife. And then do a final cut where it's cutting the whole thing off here. And I'll show you this once I've placed it. Just like that. So you're just tracing it to the outside here. That'll be flat up against here. And then, yeah. So when I do this, I do put some, it's like plaster over top of it, just so you're not using this. You're using this as a shape and a size, but it's still more or less a template. And we're going to have a huge section here where there's going to be a building of some sort. And you can see that there's this here is getting built as well. And I need to paint that still, but that was from the old layout. And it's just a construction site, so I have to add like a fence around it and whatnot. And then whatever building goes here. And then this is going to be all scenic and grass. And this is that other area that I was telling you about here, which I do have to put a retaining wall on this side because we've got a retaining wall on that side. So I just kind of have to have it matching up, and it's going to go with the fascia here right from here. So I'm going to make that fit and see how well that works. But we'll kind of do that as we go here. So that's just one part of the road there that I wanted to do. And yeah, that didn't take long at all. Now I will glue this down eventually and whatnot, but for now I'm going to leave it there. Like I said, this is not glued down yet, so I still have to do that. I do want to make this other piece as well, so I'm going to hopefully, if I can, Can I? I think I can. I'm going to use this piece here. So I've got a scrap piece, so I'm going to use the scrap piece because waste not, want not. Now, if you're very uncomfortable with tracing paper onto cardstock, you can always glue the paper to the cardstock, let it dry, and then that way it won't move on you at all. For me, I can do it. I'm okay with it, so it won't harm anything, basically. So there's that side. So we just got to do the other side now. Again, we're not spending too much money on this here. This is just a, like a dollar store project, basically. Spend your money on the things that are important, like the cool looking trains and, certain material, like if you want some really nice looking trees, spend your money on the good looking trees. But other things, you can definitely stand to save a bit of money and not buy all that really expensive stuff. I mean, people do watch the replays, so I always talk as though somebody is going to watch it eventually. Or if they don't, it's like whatever. That, and I'm not really watching the chat all that much, so even if somebody was talking, I might have missed it. It's a long weekend, so I think a lot of people are at their cottage or doing things that don't really involve the hobby all that much. But because I don't go to a cottage and I work on weekends, or everybody else's weekend is when I work, so I don't really go and do stuff like that. So. Hey Perry, how's it going? Yep, somebody could be listening to this strictly as an audio and not really watching the video. I do that a lot because I drive a lot. I'm always in the car, and I'll put on, certain videos and whatnot that really doesn't require my full attention. Unless it's something I really want to see, then I save it for later. But if it's just an audio, I also listen to a lot of lives as well when I'm driving. So if someone's doing a live, I might not be able to participate in the chat, but I'm still there in spirit, and that's all that matters. So that's your road there, right? Again, I'd probably glue it down, put some weights on it to kind of hold it, and let's see what happens. I no longer need these templates, but I do have other sections here, and I'm going to show you. There's another section right here. There's that center piece. There's going to be another road that goes, and there's a huge angle here. You can kind of see with this, because this is the other template that I was using. And move that over. And you can see where the rail is there. So that's also how I kind of work on the rail crossings as well, because I need to know what size it needs to be, right? So I'm going to have a little bit of a longer crossing here, but it won't disturb the switch. Now, I did only have enough time to make the one, but I will still make a middle section and another one of these for the other side here as well at some point. That way I can finish that crossing as well. But one at a time, right? Whoop. Okay. So I'm going to do a bit more work here. I think I'm going to build this retaining wall here. I'll be able to glue this in after. Once I know for sure that the road is exactly how I want it to be. Hey Ethan, how's it going? How are you today? So this is exactly what my retaining wall looks like. This is a kit from Walthers, and you can kind of see part of it here. So I had to get a number of these kits, which you only get so far, but it starts here, right at the tunnel portal, and it goes all the way down, and I think it's about 7.5 feet long. It's a pretty long wall, and it all looks like this. Like when you get it, it looks just like this. So for most of it, obviously you've got the top piece. You also have a smaller retaining wall, but I decided to make my own kind of custom wall, and basically it goes together just like that, just to give it a bit more height. And also it looks, it looks like a proper wall that you'd probably see, different shapes and sizes and whatnot. I think it turned out really well, and with the fact that it curves around that entire module there, kind of nuts, but it is what it is. So I'm going to line those up, and I'm going to use my quick drying glue. Whoop. Okay. It's a good question. For the 7 feet, I want to say it was 2 boxes of just retaining wall. And then I had a lot of leftover pieces because it's the same parts you get in the elevated station kit. So I had a lot of extra pieces from that. So I you grab all the ones that you can and then kind of piece it all together. And you'll notice that for some of it, I do it the double like this. And then when the ground starts coming up, getting higher and higher this way, I eventually don't use the bottom piece because I ran out of those. So I pieced it out enough that, I used all of these and all of these, and yeah, it took some math, but I did it. And this is my last one here for this. But this is on the opposite side because it goes right into the fascia. So but yeah, I think it was about 2.5 box kits. You don't get a lot with one, that's for sure. And I think one is about $20 to $30 Canadian. So needless to say, if I ever have to take this down, this entire retaining wall is coming with me. I can repurpose it. I have before. I will again. This quick drying glue is really great because it works really well plastic to plastic. A lot of people always ask me. To me, extra thin. Now there's another one that you can get. I believe it has either a blue or purple lid, but it's a bit of a thicker glue. So if you're gluing two things and there's a bit of a gap, it will actually fill that gap really well. Hey Mike, how's it going? And John, welcome John. Working away here on the layout today. So I'm going to let that sit for a minute. And then once that is dry, I'm going to show you what else I did here because I made a road. Yeah. And it goes actually right where I'm gluing. So I don't have a lot of room right where I am. So I'm trying to make do. I could have had a train going through here as well, but yeah, no, my focus wanted to be on the the whole you know, building side of it today. I have a layout update coming out in a few days, and it's been 2 years. So 2 years ago this month, because we're in July now, I've been working on this layout, going ham, trying to get everything working and getting my main line done. And now I am slowly adding industries and sidings, yards, you know how it is. And of course, you know, scenery, right? I enjoy doing the scenery side of things as well, so that's always fun. I've been meaning to put fascia right above here, but I feel like I want to finish like a lot of this, you know, this area here before I get the fascia right above it and below it, like the fascia for it. Also, I have to lock that in. I can kind of show you here because no one ever really sees back here, right? Like the train comes out of the portal there, which, I mean, you can't really see in there because it's dark, but you always see it when it goes up and around that corner there. And I've got, this is a branch line. This is a branch line here that comes around from the lumber mill, and then it comes up, and then the train basically backs up all the way along this behind the building here. And if you need to cut it, if you need to cut your cars, you do it here. And then once you're past this road here, you can then push them forward up into that industry there, which will have 2 tracks where the crane is and 1 inside the building there. This is primarily for gondolas. It's just a little scrapyard. Nothing crazy. And then I'm going to have a road. You see that black marking that goes right around there, and it comes right up here, right where my phone is. And the road is going to go across the tracks there. And then it eventually meets up with this road here, but like up there. You don't really see it. Can I move this now? Is this good? See how fast that dried? Wow. Awesome. Okay. And then, yeah, so this is my, just my, it's almost like a temporary road. It won't look like that. It'll, obviously I have to scenic it, cover it over and whatnot. And then, yeah, I put this building here. It's a building that's being built. And I had to put another building here. I don't know what should I put here, guys? What will look good facing, you know, Front Street, you know? If it has a parking lot, I'm pretty sure I can fit a parking lot around it, or at least to the side of it. And then the train would go in behind it there. And it literally stops there. If Brandon had his way, he would come and put a hole in that wall there, and it would go into my workshop. But unfortunately, I can't do that. So, yeah, sorry, Bubs. But yeah, what do you think I should do? Like, because I have like a, you know, it's going to be a building here, and then we've got obviously a bigger building that's being built right beside it. So there's some construction going on in this area here. I just want to take your eyes off the backdrop really and put it in the foreground. I might put some bushes or trees just to kind of, you know, cover that in, right? But yeah, not sure what I should put there yet. And of course, this is all going to be like, I'm going to make like a mound here, and it's going to be, grass probably, but who knows? Well, see, we're renting, so I can't just. I mean, I could. Like, they would probably be cool with it if I patched it up once we left, but I don't want to do that. I'm waiting for like a forever home so that I can do that stuff. But yeah, like my layout isn't even attached to the wall right now, right? It's just it's free. What is it? Free floating. It's a floating layout. I don't know. Either way, it's not attached to the wall, but it holds its own weight, and it yeah. It hasn't fallen yet, is all I'm trying to say. Oh, the next 2 years. Next 2 years will be me taking it down. Just kidding. Not yet. It's horrible to think, but eventually I'm gonna have to move, and I know it's a sad reality, but my kids are getting bigger, so we're probably gonna need a bigger house, and it is what it is. But I think that I have already started planning my next layout. I think we all do that, really. Like, what would I do differently? What do I add? What do I take away? I know it probably stresses people out just to even think, no, come on, you got that far. Well, it is what it is, like things happen all the time. You know, people have to move or pick up and start over and all that stuff. So it does happen. So I'm not going to let it bother me. But I do have some crazy ideas for the next layout. I feel like I've learned so much on this one, and I've got a lot that I would like. It's like a checklist. So there's the wall there. It's glued together. I like it. It does what it needs to. It retains stuff, hence the name retaining wall. Now, as an added little thing here, I'm going to add this onto the end of it, because I'm going to kind of show you. So it's going to go right here, and it's going to go right to there. Okay. So all I'm basically doing here is that I'm going to make a wall like this so that it basically lines up with the fascia, and then I'm just going to fill this entire section here in. I don't know if you can see that or not, but yeah, that's all going to get filled in. It's a lot of work. It's fun. I like doing this stuff, believe it or not. I like constructing things and all that fun stuff. Now, I do realize that these are two different heights, but what happens here is that it's going to get raised up anyways, and the bottom of it is going to get kind of connected in a different way, because I got to put foam under it to raise it up. And then I'm going to fill in certain areas of it with plaster and whatnot, just to kind of fill in certain areas and blend it into the layout a little bit better. Hey Sparky, how's it going? Thanks for joining. So we're just working a little bit on the layout here, nothing too crazy today, and hopefully make a little bit of progress. It's a lazy Sunday. who knows? If I have time, I might even add the feeders here to these tracks, because I know that's on my list. I always keep a list. You got to keep a list. That's, keep organized and just keep working away at all of these things, and you'll be good. With the fact that I got the cork down, the track down, and the switches, and all the switches, like this little ground throw here, bam, right? Like that works, no problem. Like where I'm sitting here, someone could sit and they could work this little industry just by itself, and they can keep busy, So that's what I'm kind of hoping. Have a bunch of little sections on the layout that you can just kind of work away at, and then move on to the next section, so on and so forth. What kind of trees did you make? Did you make the willow trees? I like those. They look nice. I think it's a willow tree, yeah? There's something that you can't just go to the store and get. Maple. Oh, okay. You're making some maple trees. Nice. Now, I wonder if this will be nice and it'll stay connected. Hopefully the glue is dry. Hopefully. And, all I do is I just hot glue this to the layout. It's not like it doesn't need to be a overly permanent fixture. So not only will I be able to take it off if I have to, if I make a mistake, it'll be easy to replace. And going forward, if I want to reuse it, it's really easy to clean up. Okay, so still need this to dry a little bit more, but it's being a pain. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that because that's about the angle that I need. So just let that dry, and then we'll be able to move on with it. Another thing I was thinking about was, we'll get your opinion, guys, because I do value your opinion. I've got the section here, right? And it's quite boring, except for the building. Like this building here is really nice. Walther's kit, and it allows you to add a lot of great detail. Like you can throw a crane in there, and some workers and whatnot. Put a nice little fence around it, construction zone, lots of little construction vehicles, and yeah, it allows you to just do quite a bit with it. So what I want to do is I want to put something behind it, something that's not too distracting and whatnot, but some more industries, just on the other side of the tracks. Now I have this building here. This is not a pike stuff building. I had it just laying around. So I'm thinking if I cut it in half, I can make it a backdrop building, and there's a roof for it. So you just put the roof on there, and away you go. I had painted it the gray, and then I left the top part, the roof, white. But I'm not opposed to changing that, and then doing a couple other little things in this area here. So that's an idea for there. Let me know what you think, and I think that might be what I do, because it's not much would be going on down in this area here. Not much at all. So just need something to fill in some space, you know. Hey James, how's it going? And Off the Rails, how's it going? Oh, and Highland Husky Mooch Squad. Welcome, welcome. James is still making his move. Oh man, I do not envy that, James. If I was closer, I'd give you a hand, but geez, you know, like, that's still quite a drive. Also, getting time off is ridiculous. I just had a week off, so I can't really expect to get any more time off here. So I'm just going to, wait, which way do I do that? Nope, I want to do this way. Yeah, because I want that facing forward. So you want to be very careful when you're cutting plastic. You don't want to hurt yourself, obviously. But me, I just use a knife and a, whatchamacallit, what are they called? Ruler? There you go. Knife and ruler. I like when some of the stuff is already pre-punched out for you. Like you just follow the lines, you cut it out, and then you've made a doorway. That's why I like the Pike stuff. Right? You can really customize them to fit your layout and you know, for what you want it to be. But these prefabricated buildings are really nice, and you see them everywhere. Like, they're literally everywhere. There's one on my way to my wife's work, and they sell ATVs. ATVs and boats and stuff like that. And there's like a little office, and all the ATVs and whatnot are parked outside. It's great. I think that'd be an awesome idea. And because Mini Prints offers a whatchamacallit, ATV, you know, that would be awesome. You just get a bunch of ATVs and park them outside the building, and away you go. All right, there you go. This building is nothing really. Yeah. it was a kit, but it's not anything really. It's just gonna be a backdrop building, and because it's on trackside here, I'm gonna have it all closed off because it's still considered branch lines. So I don't really want it to have any doors going out to the tracks or anything like that. No rail access, you know. The one thing I do want to do is fix this roof. And I'm going to take off this plastic piece. Cool. That worked. And I just need a bit of a better glue, and then I will be able to glue that roof, because my glue that I'm using right now does not glue paint to paint all that well. A lot of those buildings you'll see in that light blue, or in that really, you know, ugly light yellow. It's like an Easter yellow kind of color. But I decided to go with gray on this one. I don't know why. You can kind of see if I'm working away here. See? Okay. wonder if you can actually see what I'm working on. There we go. Okay. And for those who are wondering, Instacure, this is what I use for my painted plastic to painted plastic. Also makes great beard gel. Just kidding. But yeah, it works and it dries quick for the most part anyways. I don't think it's some sort of miracle glue or anything like that, but it does what it needs to. So I'll just hold it and hopefully it works. All right. This glue smells so bad. You definitely do not want to inhale that. Pro tip right there. Just in case. Just in case you're like, I wonder what it smells like. And I just glue little by little here. I commend those who keep a hair dryer with them and just use a hair dryer to, dry things quickly. Especially like, also if you're like painting something and whatnot, and you're just trying to get it done. I wouldn't be able to. I mean, I could. It's not like a difficult thing, but I feel like, that would rush things. I'm not one to rush. And once obviously this is done drying, I'm gonna put it, in its place there, and we'll be able to see how bland it looks against the backdrop, and it'll definitely just be a placeholder. It's not meant to be an extravagant building or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure I could weather it up and whatnot, which are, it's not out of the cards, but I think I want to do the eavesdropping, eavesdropping, the edging around the top there. I want to paint that. That's for sure. Trough. Is it eaves trough? Trough. Eavesdropping. A weird word. I mean, I could probably stand to put a window in there, but I'm like, do I need to? I probably don't. Just pull that track out a little bit. Gutters. Yeah, there you go. I want to paint the gutters. And I'll show you this here. Yeah, see, it's nothing. It's just a, it's just a thing for the other side of the track there. Not really any access to the rails or anything, but you'll see the locomotive will pull the cars back and then go forward again, and that's all it is. And then I've got another thing here. I mean, I could make the sides a little shorter, and I can make it an even longer building, but I don't think it's necessary. I really don't. Might be overkill at that point. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. I guess I can always cut this side shorter. I don't think I'm using this thing for anything anyways, so I'm going to try this, and if it looks good, then I might keep it, but if it does not look good, no harm, no foul. I'll just use it for something else. It'll go into the bits box until I need it. Do you guys have a bits box? I find that when I get a lot of kits, there's always tons of extra pieces and whatnot. They always give you so much more than what you need. And that's not me leaving out pieces. I do build the kit, but I find that there's always so many extra pieces. Might have to cut that a little bit shorter. But then again, you've got the door and the garage door. I don't want to access there. I don't like the idea of that. Yeah, no. Get out of here. Okay. Hey, Paul, how's it going? Long time no see. Unless I've missed you on another live. Also, yesterday was Canada Day, so if I missed you, happy Canada Day. And for all of our USA neighbors, tomorrow is Independence Day. Happy America Day. if I can be so brave to say that. Happy America Day. Now, I kind of want to see if we can make this wall here work. Just a different view, It's walking across the tracks. And I think that even if I put a piece of foam under that, that will be not tall enough, but I should be able to still support it. So I will get my foam and we will cut. I use Pink Panther extruded foam, many different sizes. It really depends on what I'm doing at the time, how much space I need to cover, or if I need a thicker foam or a thinner foam. This here, we're going thin. This is I want to say it's a 1/2 inch. I will confirm that, but Yes, it's 1/2 inch thick pink extruded foam. Murica. Who makes those, Chris? Who makes what? Let me know, and I will let you know. It's another reason why I like using paper as a template, right? Like you fit it in here. Okay, so let's say if it goes up against here. Sometimes people will use newspaper as well, which is also fine. But if I go like this, and there we go. Mike, are we talking about the walls? Yeah, the walls. Okay, so Walthers makes well, they have the elevated station, which amazing kit. However, like you need to buy a lot of different pieces for it. But in the elevated station kit, you get a bunch of these walls. Now they do sell the walls separately, which is a case just like this one where I had to buy 2, maybe 3 boxes, but I at least bought 2 so that I could get 2 different sets of walls. So you get the big ones, which are up here, and then there's little ones down at the bottom. I reverse them so that I can make the wall even taller. So that is where they come from. That's Walthers for you. And let me see here. So that's a good size. How many prints print you windows that fit the open panels along with large door and windows? Yeah, that would be neat. Well, yeah, with the retaining walls, it's nice because like you can go and you can get different wall patterns, and I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is Nock, N-O-C-H, either Notch or Nock. They make these long strips which are different brick and other kind of wall patterns, which are really nice. But they only come in one height from what I've seen, and I needed something taller. I had a whole bunch of these just laying around here, and I'm like, oh, hey, I could probably use that. That's right. And so I did. What? Yes, I know. Everyone says hi. But yeah, so I had a bunch of them because I had bought the elevated station kit, and I used some of it over by the elevated station. But then I started building this area here because I really wanted to do some work like up here. So I'm like, okay, well, let me get this area kind of finalized and whatnot. So I stole some of that wall from the other side, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need a lot. So then I ended up ordering obviously way more, and that's how that came about. I regret nothing. Okay, so I gotta take a bit more off of here. Okay, and you can see how that will literally just sit on there like that, and everything kind of lines up. Now, obviously, there's a bit of space at the bottom there where the retaining wall slope is, but that's not a huge deal because that will all get adjusted anyways. And it's nowhere near where the train would hit, so that's also good. So that means that I just got to glue that down, and then I would fill in the front here, and then obviously as well fill in the back area because that gets real tricky. Now I might want to put like a railing up here and here as well, so I haven't really finalized that yet. I probably have to go through my bit spin to look for my railing pieces, but it's also something that will most likely happen here. And I can put some more support pieces in behind, as I will want to hold it in place and also cover in some of these holes so it's a little bit darker. And once that's done, I can close it up and I'll be able to paint the actual wall itself. And these here need to go back a tiny bit. Whoops. Because that's supposed to go right through to that. I think I need my hot glue gun, so bear with me for a moment. All right, so I got my bucket of glue. Got a whole bunch of glue sticks. And now my hot glue gun is heating up. It's quite a bit to be done, with something like this. It's not always cut and dry. So. Yep, that's true. I'm not gluing the wall in place. I'm just going to glue the other stuff here, and then I could always go back and do that. Also, it'll look a lot better once it's all painted one color, weathered and whatnot, and then, made to look more like it's all one piece, right? Opposed to, you can clearly tell that's a couple of different pieces there. But we're going to get this foam in place first because that is important. So what is everybody else working on today? oh, you know that there's going to be graffiti on it for sure. What I need Tim to do is I need Tim to come over, and he has to go right along this wall here, end to end, and do little tags and stuff like that, just so that it looks like people have been going down there just to do stuff like that. While I'm waiting for this glue to heat up, I had mentioned earlier about future plans for, layouts and whatnot, and some of the stuff that I'm really hoping to do in the near future. When I look at this layout for what it is right now, good things and bad things, stuff like that. What would I carry over and what would I do going forward? Well, for me personally, track is a huge thing. Track, the main part of your layout. If the track is not good, then your trains will not work well on the track. You know. So, do I like Pico and do I like Code 83? These are two of the major things that I'm looking at with my whole layout, because I've used Atlas Code 100 and now using a different brand and a different rail height. Do I like the change? Do I, what do I do? So what I'm thinking, what I would like to do, and it's actually something that I considered prior to doing my layout. I really want to do the main line of my layout still Pico, but Code 100. Now, most people will do Code 83 and then do their sidings in Code 70. But I find that a lot of the stuff that I use, the wheel flange is huge. And things just look better when they're higher up off the rail. I don't know if it's just me or not, but Code 100 on a main line and then Code 83 in a siding, to me sounds like it makes more sense. And like I said, that's something that I wanted to do when I had started building the layout, but I'm like, no, just do it all Code 83, you'll be fine. And, for the most part, I can run trains right around and it works fine. But I find that some of my stuff, like the flange is so big that if it was Code 100, it would probably work a lot better. So that's kind of where I'm at with track. So I'm thinking Code 100 on my main line, and Pico offers now these conversion pieces where you can connect a Code 100 to one side of it and then a Code 83, and it transitions it, and it's smooth, and it works. So doing something like that, especially after using Dave's layout, like we were over at Dadco's layout, and he uses all Code 100, like Code 100 switches, Code 100 track, and it looks so much better when it's higher up from the ties. Ties look good and whatnot, but I think that the rail needs to be a little bit higher. So that's my thought on that. So for other things, what else am I thinking? Well, I do love O&R, but my roots are Toronto. And even this past month, when I spent a lot of time in Toronto and doing a lot of rail fanning, which has come up before. You know, when you go rail fanning, you see a lot of things that, you know, you might not realize, oh wow, I can run that. I can run that on my layout because it goes with this. Especially if you do a lot of prototypical, you know, running of different trains, and you know, you want to do it era specific and all that stuff. So I already run a lot of CN, and I'm okay with CN. Me and CN are good. But with O&R, as much as I love O&R, a lot of these companies don't come out with enough stuff, like especially locomotives. I can't say rail cars because I've just recently got, you know, a whole ore train and a, you know, a whole gondola train, you know, but there's a lack in locomotive power for smaller road names, and it takes away from it, you know, because you really want to model these things, but at the same time, you know, you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, hoping that a manufacturer makes the locomotive or the cars that you want to model. So you either, you know, what? I got nothing for you. I don't know what you want. I got hot glue, but cats don't like hot glue. Yeah, I just, you know, with some of that stuff, it's like, well, what do you do, right? So my thought is doing more of a Toronto-based layout because I'm from Toronto, and I want to incorporate two things: passenger, which is more GO Transit stuff, and now that it's more likely that it's going to happen and it's more prototypical looking, that's something that will most likely happen. And another thing is CN, which does happen. And then there's also the possibility of an Amtrak train, otherwise known as the Maple Leaf. And that runs from Union Station to New York, which is really neat. So that's another train that I'll probably be looking to get. And because that just started up recently, all I'm seeing lately on online are pictures of the Maple Leaf train, which is neat. Now I'm still keeping a lot of my O&R stuff because you know, you don't want to get rid of a lot of it. Also, if I run like a Toronto layout, I can also do some stuff in regards to the steel mill, which I've got the steel mill buildings, because there's a steel mill, or there was, in Hamilton. Whoop. Okay, that was weird. And yeah, then the O&R trains would run those cars down to Hamilton to the steel mill. So there's a lot of CN interchange as well with that. So I think that's the path that I'm going to take when doing all this. I think I missed some. Paul says that his train club is using code 100 mainline and code 83 for sidings, and using it works well with all types of equipment. See, that's my thought right there. Like, I don't know if it's a fail-safe or if it's just you're going to have a more enjoyable experience, you know, with it, right? Like I said, a lot of people will do code 83 on the main and then code 70, but I don't like the idea of code 70 because that's too small. I'd probably have to see it in person in order to be like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a shot, but just the sound of it just, I don't know, doesn't sound right to me. I haven't. I see a lot of the problem. Me and Perry had this, or sorry, Perry and we had this conversation, and I probably know I'll get smack for this, but it's like when I look at Amtrak cars, they all look the same, right? And with that, it's really confusing because I'm not too familiar with Amtrak and then all this, phase one, phase two, phase three, all the way up to phase five, and I'm like, I don't know what is what, and you put a Via car in front of me, and I can tell you what it is and roughly the era and all that. So that's like more of my bread and butter. Where Amtrak, I'm still kind of, and it turns out Cato is actually making that 50 years of Amtrak. I think it's 50. 50 years of Amtrak locomotive, the red and blue one. So I'll probably be picking up that because they've been using that one, which I think is like number 108. It's a P42, number 108 for the Maple Leaf train. So I'd probably start there, and then yeah, if Walters makes those cars, great. I need about 5 of them. So that's a full train right there, and then I'm good. That's done, right? But yeah, I want to do a lot of trains and whatnot that you would see going through Union Station and around the GTA area. A lot of the bigger CN locomotives, like Tier 4s and all that. Um, yeah, I think it'll be very enjoyable. And I know I'm going to start off this month doing some of that and collecting some of these locomotives and different rolling stock pieces for that, because I'm set right now as far as with my layout. I'm working on it here and there, but I want to build up what I'm going to need when I go to do this layout in the future. We're talking like 5-6 years from now, possibly, maybe sooner. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm just going to build up for now, and then down the road, I mean, it's definitely something to look forward to. I'm very excited to do that. But at the same time, I'm in no rush because I've got lots to keep me busy. So scale trains. There's yeah, a lot of people like scale trains, but I don't know if I'm a fan or not. I know it sounds weird because I know a lot of people love scale trains and whatnot, but we'll see. We will see, Cornell. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Oh yeah, no, I think any track you gotta clean. It has to be good. It has to work well. It has to function properly. And if not, then yeah, you're gonna just not be able to do it at all. So it's still very important to have good track, no matter what size or scale. Yeah, I don't know if I would do Conrail. Conrail would be cool. I know that with Intermountain, they're coming out with a lot of these, and yes, even scale trains is doing the exact same thing, which, I mean, I don't like, because I know that Intermountain announced them first. I don't know where they're at with them, but Intermountain announces all the CN heritage units and all that, and then what does Scale Trains do? They go and announce all the heritage units for CN, and that's what gets companies in trouble. That's how wars start, unfortunately, because one company will say, we're going to do this, and then another company comes in and says, hey, guess what? We're going to do this. And, it's just then it's an all-out war between manufacturers as to who's going to get it out first or who's going to do it better and all that. So not always great. I think there's enough room in this hobby for everybody, and I think a lot of people forget that. Even with shops, like everybody has the store that they shop at. I think there's enough room in this industry for more than one store, right? So it's an ugly business, man. Yeah, it is really good because you know what? Shipping fees are crazy. So when I was doing a lot of this shipping, right? Because I had sold, I don't know if I mentioned, but I sold some of my stuff, like a couple locomotives, a lot of different pieces of rolling stock that I'm not going to need going forward because of the changeover in what I am modeling. Um, so I'm shipping out some packages, right? And it's like $30 to ship. Also, I just recently placed an order, $30 to have something sent to me. That's crazy. I remember when it cost like $17 for, a moderately sized box. Nothing, no overkill. But yeah, that's to me that's insane. $30? And that's Canadian, by the way. But yeah, it's that seems like a lot, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I don't know if it's just me, but yeah, those shipping prices, they're crazy. They'll get you. And I'm not even going to get started on how mad I am with Canada Post. I don't think this is time for a rant, but I am not thrilled with Canada Post right now. Yeah, not thrilled at all. I had ordered a package as well, and not a lot of items. I don't think it's going to be too heavy of a package. I've ordered way more and paid, less, but I paid about $30 to have it shipped to me. And now a lot of places, they'll say, okay, well, let's get you a shipping quote before you order so that you are well, aware of what this is going to cost. So like how many limbs I'm going to have to sell in order to get my package. Is that what you're telling me here? Is that what we got to do? Sell a limb? Like, all right. I mean, my local stores, I could drive for like 45 minutes to a store one way, or 30 to 40 minutes the other way. And even though they're nice stores with nice staff and whatnot, it's like gas prices. We talk gas prices, and then, well, I'd rather get it shipped to me if the gas is going to cost me that much in order to So it's like, what do you do at that point? Do you just have it shipped to you, or do you drive to the store? So it's definitely a crazy economy right now with everything. But if it's not one thing, it's something else, you know. Lots of setbacks and whatnot. I remember when I was working on my layout within the last couple of years, and I'm like, oh, I need so many switches, and there was no switches available. Just the way the industry was at the time, I guess. But you know, setbacks. There's always going to be setbacks. Hey James, if that one store, and I totally forget the name of it, so you have to forgive me. If that one store is offering free shipping, but that's on items that are, well, if you spend $100, but if the shipping is like $30, does that mean that they're losing $30? Like, is that just me, or? Because I don't think that companies would want to lose that much money, especially if their items are, you know, expensive already. I mean, you know, that's pretty good if it's, you know, free shipping and whatnot. Because there's not a lot of other stores out there that do that, so, and that helps. Yeah, eBay is kind of weird as well. And they've changed a lot over the years. Like, I used to buy and sell off of eBay, or Feebay, as they're known by a lot of the people in the community. So, yeah, you know, terms of service and all that stuff, yada, yada, yada. But, you know, on top of that as well, you end up paying more for something because no matter what you sell on eBay, eBay wants a cut of whatever it is that you're selling, and that's regardless of, you know, is it a store, is it a person? They don't care. So there's that as well. And then there'll be the items where you're like, oh, wow, this is a really good deal. But really, it's like, oh, no, I got to still pay tax on top of that. I got to pay shipping on top of that. See how it blends? And that's only one layer of foam there. I got to still, like, obviously I would trim all that down there. Trim, like, the stuff along the edging. But I got to raise that up there, so. Yeah, yeah. The shipping is totally different in the States than it is in Canada. It's weird. And then shipping from America to Canada, that's kind of weird too. And it takes like 2-3 weeks for, if I ordered something from California, because a lot of the shirts that I have, I order from an online store, and they're in America, and it takes literally 2 weeks from the day that I place the order for them to make the shirt, package the shirt, ship the shirt, and for me to receive the shirt. And most of that time is technically, the process of shipping. Like once it hits Canada, it takes like 2 days. I think my the customs or whatever, that's either Toronto or Montreal. Seems to be always different. Yeah. Just again, kind of show you this. Oh yeah, that's a good view. Bird's eye view of what I'm working on here. So you can kind of see that the fascia comes in like this, and then I'm making somewhat of a wall of foam behind the wall, and then this is all going to get covered over here. So, hey Brian, thanks for joining. Now this here. This piece here does not need to be perfect. It just needs to kind of sit here, and then I'll be able to cut a hole for the signal, or not the signal button, but the switch. And I will worry about the fascia later. So this is kind of the area that we're working on here. I know it doesn't look like much, but trains flow through there, and then of course this whole section. I just put this here. I always put solid pieces along the front here, just so that, I mean, in a case like this, I'm going to cut out a hole here that the button will go through, and this here is connected to this switch, right? So I can go over to the siding. It's one that I don't really use that often, but I still have the option for it, especially if a train is coming or whatever. Then you can always move your passenger locomotive over to the side so that you're able to get through there no problem. With this, it is yay big. So I think I can kind of cut a little rectangle right about here. Oh, that glue isn't completely dry yet. Thought that it would be way quicker than that. Funny thing with doing scenery and all that, like when you're building up the land and whatnot and you just look at it, it looks terrible. But when you finish and you've got it all covered in, you know, plaster, and you paint it, and then you do the all the other little things there to make it look realistic. Yeah, I just cut a hole here to fit this through. I'm gonna obviously do more of a thing like this, but I'll have to wait till the fascia's there. Then I drill out these 3 holes. But yeah, so like, you know, you do all these things and like that looks atrocious, right? But that's how it starts, you know, and then eventually, you know, it gets a little bit more, you know, you add track and stuff like that. And I can't really go over to the other side right now, but you'll obviously see, you know, you add grass and dirt roads and all that stuff, and it looks obviously way better at that point. So wondering if The only thing I hate about hot glue is the spider webs. But I'm trying to fill this in the best I can here. And I mean, it looks okay so far. It's all work in progress, you know. Are the Bachmann ones modeled after nickel plate models? Are they nice runners? Never heard much about them. James is talking about Bachmann locomotives. I've never bought a Bachmann locomotive before. However, those newer, whatever they're called, charger locomotives, apparently they're amazing. They look and sound really good. So there's that. Like, you'd never know it was a Bachmann locomotive. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm building up a lot of this land here, and gluing most of it down. It's a messy job, but someone's got to do it. Might as well be me. Perry is agreeing with my statement about the Bachmann charger locomotives. You have two of them. Oof. Well, I'm really glad that they are good, because I'm not sure what I would do if they're the only company doing the VIA charger, and I need a VIA charger. So there's that. Talk about conflict. Like, what do you do at that point? But as long as they're good, then it should be okay. Two VIA chargers? I guess you're changing the number on one of them? So, 8. And I have hopefully this is accurate. Keep in mind, I'm not totally measuring it exact. I probably should have traced it with a piece of paper and then put the paper on top, but I want this to be as rough as possible here. Okay, so that looks, you know, pretty decent. TCS Wow Sound with Keep Alive. Oh yeah, yeah. I think it comes standard with that, right? That is really good. That'll probably be my first TCS locomotive or equipped locomotive, if I'm being honest. I mostly ride or drive whatchamacallit, whatever it's called, lock sound. So to try something different, besides the few locomotives that I have that are actually Athearn Genesis with the Tsunami, or Toonami as I like to say. Tsunami 2 decoders. Where is Mark hiding? he gets to sleep in during the summer, so I'm pretty sure he's probably sleeping in. If you guys can actually see what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, okay. So I cut a piece to cover this up here, and then this piece here is going to go over top of that, and then this will help for cutting layers of foam, and I just build up on this. I could probably push that this way a little bit. Could stand too anyways. probably gonna have to run through a vacuum through here after, but that's totally fine. Now, even though as well I'm only doing some foam cutting here with this, I will cover this with whatever it's called, like plaster and stuff like that. It's a good way to blend it throughout here. And this is some of the, or one of the things that I do for building up land in areas like this where it's a huge area, right? So okay, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna glue this in place. When it's done, you won't even recognize the area, hopefully. Oh, there. Speak of the devil, there's Mark there. Step 1 is complete. I walked into the train room, looked around for 26 minutes, and said tomorrow. He's the opposite to a bear. He hibernates all summer, and then he'll show up in the wintertime. If Mark moved next door to me, we would have that whole neighbor situation where I'd be going over to borrow a cup of ballast as opposed to a cup of milk. I think he wants to avoid that. darn stringy glue. Cleanup is always a pain, but what can you do, right? All right, so let's take another look here. So just kind of filling in this area. You remember it was like wide open at the beginning of this. And put a piece there. I know, it looks like garbage, right? But that's why you put this, this hardboard in front of it, right? I do the same thing on other parts of my layout, and it turns out okay. You just gotta kind of make it happen, right? So this entire thing here, and like, see, I fill it in with plaster and whatnot. That's kind of how it looks until you fill it in, and then you paint it, and then around the corner there you can kind of see add grass and stuff. But this is how it looks when you start, unfortunately, and it's not that great to look at, but it's coming together either way. Like, this wasn't here when I started today, so. I think Mark needs to go to the motivation store and buy a big bag of motivation. I think Costco sells that. Get a big bag of motivation. But how does one buy a bag of motivation? Too expensive. In this economy, bags of motivation are up 300%. I think I'm gonna attach the road here so that it seems like I've done a lot more than what I have. Okay, so first step, find where it's supposed to go. Just trying to find a good angle for you guys. I would watch that, Mark. Semi-automatic. Yeah, and these are my rounds right here. I keep all my rounds in a plastic container. Again, dollar store, not the container, the glue. You know what I mean? Like that might have been about $3.50, $4, and you get so many glue sticks. Mind you, I've got through at least $100 worth of glue sticks by now, working on this layout. I wish I was joking. But yeah, that's probably the realest thing I've ever said right there. $100 worth of glue sticks on this layout. I have a license for my semi-automatic glue gun. It's all good. And I always use it within a controlled zone, 50 meters away from this and that, or whatever it's supposed to be. You think I read all the rules? No. It's a pretty good glue gun, I'm not gonna lie. Again, dollar store. All right, James, you have yourself a good one. Wow, it's 2 o'clock already? Okay, well, I guess I'm Dunsky. That 2 hours flew by so quickly. I can't even express how quick that went. Yeah. Well, that's sad. Done for another week. Mind you, it took a while for everyone to get in here. But, you know, it is what it is. Everybody's got lives and stuff, So Mark's going to go live now, and he's going to do a live of himself cleaning his train room, apparently, which will be fun to watch. I'm just going to add this one piece here, and then I'm going to call it, because I was only going to go till 2 o'clock. I got things to do. Not really, but I mean, I do have things to do, but nothing as fun as this, let me tell you. And I'm going to need a garbage bag as well to clean this stuff up. Okay, so me and my semi-automatic glue gun need to glue this one last piece on here. Don't fail me now, glue. Mark's going back to bed. Oh, jeez. Ta-da! Look, guys, it's a road. I need a vehicle. A vehicle. There we go. There's one. There's one in arm's reach, and it is both via and a bus. So it's obviously not going to be going any further than that, but I can always have a, you know, something stopped here, and waiting for the train to go through. You know how it is. And you'll notice how it's not flat either. Like it goes down and then it comes up. And that's, I mean, technically, when you think about it, roads aren't flat. They're not perfect by any means. So it gives you a bit more of an opportunity to kind of play with it a little bit more, you know, and then go over the bump and, right? So it adds a bit more realism to it, I think. But it's all good. So we did quite a bit. We filled this in, we put that there. This still is not attached. Wonder if I can remove it. Oh yeah, I gotta glue that stuff down there too. Duh. Well, maybe another day. But yeah, so I can still remove this, which is fine. But I glued it together and kind of filled it in here. I do have a piece as well that goes up here, which I'm gonna glue down and then carve a bit more. Whoop. And then I have to obviously put more on top of it, right? And then I might add railings right along here, and then this will all get scenic. And then I still need to know, like, there's no one really gave any recommendations, so I'll check one more time, see what you guys think. You let me know in the comments or in the chat, whatever. There's a fair amount of space here, right beside this building, which is currently being built. Just gonna finish that. There we go. Okay. So there's this building that's being built. There's another little industry in there which is not serviced by rail, but that's just the back of it. And we're gonna have something here. There could be a parking lot. There's enough room for that. Maybe an apartment building, something by the tracks, you know, something to kind of like hide the background a little bit, you know, a little bit of a blending thing going in there. And the glue is dripping now. So I'm going to unplug that. There we go. And yeah, just something to really pull this scene together, you know. And it'll connect to this road here. So like I can have like the road coming up to the parking lot or around the building. What do you guys think? What do you think would fit there? And actually, how big are we talking here? It's about, so I'd go about, okay, so it's 12 inches. That's 12 inches there, or there, yeah. And then I've got another 12 inches up here from there, and I can go about 10 inches. So 10 by 12 roughly. 10 by 12, 10 inches up and then 12 inches wide. If I have to cut the building off or push it farther back, that's not a problem. Yeah, let me know what you think. We'll see what's good. I'm going to need a building for it. It's got to make sense though, right? Because you know, you've got a building being built here. You've got some industries in the back, busy road, rail service industry over this way, right by the tracks, obviously. So what do you think? What do you think? Oh, and it's about, I've got less than 10 inches. I'd like it to be, you know, less than 10 inches because not much room in here. So we'll see. We'll see. A small mow yard would look good in that area. That might be too small of an area. I'm hoping for just a building. Like I could fit like a building there. Building wouldn't be a bad idea. But the thing is that because this is a branch line that comes in from the other side of the layout, comes this way, right? So you're pulling cars, and you pull the cars all the way back through a switch and over the road crossing here. Now the locomotive can pull about I believe it's 4 or 5 gondolas, because this is for scrapyard. So it can pull about 4 or 5, and the locomotive goes all the way back here and stops right at the wall there. And then you throw the switch, which is right under this foam here. There you go. You throw that switch, and then the locomotive will push them forward into here. It'll take the empties, it'll pull them right back, and then push them out this way. So this here is really just a service track for this industry. It probably is a stub end somewhere, so it goes down to nothing at some point. So there wouldn't be enough room here to put like a yard of any sort. But like we've got, it goes into here. You got the crane with a couple of tracks, and there's going to be a road that goes right around. You can see the black lines that kind of go around to that side there. And that comes in and goes up over where my cell phone is. It crosses the tracks there, and then that will meet up with this track or this road here somewhere up far in the distance. Why don't you make the empty space where the construction equipment is that building the Amazon distribution center? You can get some big cranes and put them in some cement silos. That's a good idea. Now, are we thinking that the Amazon facility is this? Like this could be like the Amazon thingy, and then this is the parking lot here area for this building? Because again, road access right here. I can get some Amazon trailers to kind of load in here already, so that they're kind of getting ready to do all this. And then then put like a sign that says Amazon, or like future site of Amazon something or other. That'd be kind of neat. And then obviously, like a crane. Like I would like to put a crane in here so it looks like it's kind of building. Maybe a couple of dump trucks and other construction vehicles. Okay, yeah, no, that's an excellent idea. So instead of buying a building, I just buy some construction vehicles and do it up. That's neat. Okay, sounds good. That was hard. See, I knew you guys would help. So that being said, we're gonna call it. It's just almost a quarter after 2, and I'm done for the day. I gotta work in a bit, so I'm going to. Well, it's blurry. Did I? Oh, there we go. It focused. So I'm gonna work on that some more, probably throughout the week and whatnot, and we'll revisit this at some point. Again, this is like a 4 feet, 2 by 4 feet, but curved section that honestly I've put off for the past 2 years because it's really a do nothing area, but I want to bring it to life. I want to add some stuff to it, make it look cool, and yeah, I appreciate the input with that, and we'll see what we come up with, because I'm really excited. I can take all that stuff with me. Like this building here, this was on my layout at my old house, and I'm like, well, I'm never going to use that ever again. Well, guess what? Here it is. It's back. So yeah, I tend to save stuff like that, because if I like it, or if I like how I made it, that's not how it looks on the box. That's it's supposed to be 4 layers thick. This one is 2 layers thick, and I just made it taller and longer. So just because it shows a picture on the front of the box as to how you build it doesn't mean you have to build it that way. I have to paint it though because it's not painted. So got lots of work to do, lots of little things. So other than that, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'll be running trains on Wednesday. And happy Independence Day to all my American viewers and followers from south of the border. And we'll be over on Tim's channel this Thursday for Third Rail Thursday. So we'll see you then.